So this tutorial is about using PowerPoint as a professional analysis tool, and a lot of UEFA A, B, and Pro licensed coaches, they actually use PowerPoint to do some post-match or training analysis and to actually present to their players. So how do you make it look more professional and very visual for your players? Is one of my purposes. So I can share you one of at least a few tips and tricks in that aspect. So today we will talk about how to accentuate an individual player with this kind of oval shape, and we will draw it together so that afterwards you can add it to a library and you can actually use it again and again in your training sessions or your match, pre-match, post-match briefings. So on my left side I have a random picture as a reference and explain how it really looks like or should look like. Well, let's say that the player's feet are encapsulated inside an oval shape, and on that oval shape line there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6 or 7 is fine, different other shapes. Now, correct and not so correct, what I mean by that is that I prefer to use and to start with using two circles, a larger one over a smaller one. So the smaller one is placed into the larger one, and that we can achieve by insert from the menu, oval, take oval, copy paste, and there you go, you have two oval shapes. You select them, the left mouse click, and then we don't give it a fill. Again, we take one circle, we reshape it to a smaller one, and we place it into the bigger one. So that's what I want. I don't prefer using the oval option and not the circle hollow option, for the reason that the inside outline and the outside outline will always be a different ratio and a different gives a different shape. So when you choose to draw these elements separately, you can use reference lines like the red dashed line, reshape both shapes, position it, and just ensure that these distances between left, right, inner outline, outer outline are conform. Okay, I will make it a little bit more flat and bigger. So this is the first step. There you go. So actually the molds, the red line serves as a mold for these individual shapes. So as you can see on the sample picture, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different shapes inside these two oval shapes that we just drew. Okay, so let's look at it. For convenience, I just made the outer circle and gave it a black color, fill with black color, so that in the foreground you can use a very contrasting color like green and a 2-point thickness to make it very, very visible on what you are doing. And let's see how that works. I will delete it for now, and I will try to draw exactly the same shape together with you. So from the menu, insert again two shapes. Which shape is looking almost alike? Well, there's the shape trapezoid, which has four corners, and that shape can be amended towards what we more or less like. We don't need a fill, we give it a thicker outline and a very clear color so that we can assess what we are drawing. Okay, so we squeeze it in between the red, let's say, molding lines, but you can see that it's not perfect. Now, this is a very important step. So in PowerPoint, you just select the shape. From the shape format menu, you can edit the shape and edit the points. Now, the 4 points need to be perfectly on the line to have a good end result. So I draw it on the line. I just pull it by holding my left mouse button, and then you can see that that it's still not perfect. So whatever you do, you cannot really make it perfect because there's no bend in the upper and lower line. So what you need to do for that, we actually make a bend in the lower and in the upper half of the shape. The line, we make a bend. And how you can do that? Well, on the 4 points you can actually click and you can see there's a rectangular white dot appearing, and that white dot, identical to the black dots, can be pulled for making the bend on the line. So this is perfect, and the lower half I need to do as well. Rectangular, once you click on the black dot, the rectangular white dot appears, and we can amend, fine-tune accordingly. So this looks perfect. We zoom out, and what we see is that from my reference template here, I will add an extra shape, not 6 but 7, with the 1, 2, lower 3, and then at 4, with one common. So with one common shape to each half respectively. So 1, 2, 3, and we can copy that to the other side later. Shapes using the trapezoid can be these ones perfectly. That's kind of easy to amend the trapezoid and make these kind of shapes on both sides. But the only problem is the one in between. So this shape here would be a little more difficult. So how to draw that shape? Well, I will put it here as a reference, and I will delete it, and I will draw it from scratch with you. So this requires a little bit of skills in PowerPoint. So shapes, and then in the menu lines you see freeform shape. You click on it and there's a small cross appearing. So now it's about just clicking, and you see that there's a line appearing. So you just click from line to line and then just follow the red molding line by clicking inside that red line and make it symmetrical lower and top half. So this is a kind of careful process. So clicking and moving, and then let's see how it looks like. So that's not bad, but you can actually amend it later in the same way as I explained before. If you're not happy with it, you can actually go to Edit Shape and then just point by point change it if you have some not really regular patterns. So this looks acceptable. Okay, so that one is done. So basically there were four, 1, 2, 3, 4 shapes that you need to draw, and the other ones you can copy. So let's see if it's the result. Sorry about that. So by holding the control and clicking the shapes, and this one we don't need, we can give them a nice blue fill already, and we don't need the outline for now. So that looks already acceptable, and we kind of, what we need to do is these three shapes, we need to move exactly the same ones to the other end. So what we can do is actually group them, take them as a group. They are still selected, copy paste, and then we have them in the same way. Now if we have them in the same way, we just need to drop them to the other end, so we stretch them to the right side and size, and we position them carefully. Okay. White color. Good. Okay, so now it comes down to the visuals, and I need to start off with removing backgrounds and unwanted backgrounds and reference lines. So I will remove these, and of course most of the pictures are green during analysis, so that's where we are now, and we are looking for more contrast on the green, so it's still better, or an advice, to give it a good outline, and the outline is for all the shapes the same color in my case. I will group them, I will take them as a whole so that I can resize the unit as a whole. And what you notice is that now we are at a width of the individual shapes outline from 2-point thickness, but when you will make it smaller, it can become a little bit too thick, depending on your taste, but I will make it in that case like 1 point lesser of thickness. So that's where we are at now. Drop shadows and close to make it even more emphasizing. So the first thing what I do is from the menu, shape effects, from shadow, give it a low right bottom drop shadow. So that's the first thing. Looks nice. Okay, second thing, and also it can be accessed from the right hand side menu as well. Format shape, shadow we already had, and then we give it a glowing color, same as the outline color of each individual shape. So So this is exaggerated. 7 point is too much for this size. A transparency of about 50%, let's say. So each individual shape still needs to be visible when the glow is present. So this will do. So that's the first thing. Now, in most of the cases and in my training sessions, there are two teams, a yellow and a red team, or between lines there can be players accentuated in different colors. So for that I will demonstrate how I do it. So we have a red team, and I will, from the shape menu, I will draw a give it a black outline. So it's about this red player. I think this works well. Also in some software packages it's exactly the same, so to point out a specific player, and he's from the red team, so 2 times click, 2 times click, and white in the middle. So this is the red team player, and I will copy everything by selecting with the control button, and then I will make a yellow team player. Double click. So there you go. So it looks acceptable, and you could still play with the glows if necessary. So 8 points glow, 8 points glow. So now it's time to use what we are drawing into a pitch environment, into our analysis, and I will copy it in here already. Okay, so these shapes will be added to a library, and we can reuse it each time that we need to do an analysis. So in this case, I remember it was a phase of play with 2 center backs, 5 midfielders and 2 forwards for the yellow team against a goalkeeper and 4 defenders and 3 midfielders for the red team. And what I wanted to accentuate is 3 central midfielders on a flat line for the yellows. So for the yellows, I will make a custom emphasizes in yellow, bright yellow, outline a little bit darker yellow fill, and brighter yellow outline, and then the middle one bright yellow and a darker yellow outline. That's it. It would look nice on a green pitch that you actually play with the glow color and the size and transparency, but that's for every pitch environment is different, and also the color of the picture can influence what you exactly need. So let's look at it more closely. So this is a little bit overkill. The size certainly needs to be smaller. The transparency can be made a lot higher. And this should be doing what we need. So I was talking about 3 midfielders on a flat line, and there they are. So see how it catches, how the shape catches the almost like scorpion legs, catches the player. So that's why it's very useful to indicate it like that in PowerPoint. Good, and I will do the same for the 2 forwards, and I will amend the coloring. I can actually use the eyedropper to pick the same color. Good, and I will wait to play with the actual glow until I see the result. 2 forwards. That doesn't really look nice, so I will use 10% white. Yeah, it's more like it. So when the outlines is a little bit too visible, I use a different thickness. So I catch the forwards, make it a little bit flatter. Okay, so this is the result for now, and now you can indicate that it's the yellow team that we are talking about. So we make every yellow player stand out. These are the midfielders. And these are the forwards. So this is the result from the drawings up till now, and in the next tutorial I will make them animated.